Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday. On this Friday morning, my name is Eva Medilek, high performance and cultural inclusivity and intelligence coach. And I want to speak to you today about intelligence. So, here's a book that I'm currently reading, and it's called It's the Little Things. Now, it was written, I believe, back in the early 2000s. Let me see. Yes, exactly in 2000. And the author is Lena Williams. And it's everyday interactions that anger, annoy, and divide the races. So last night, I was reading, I believe, chapter 6 of this book. So do me a favor, if you're watching this, please say hi. Let me know where you're from, because I love it when people say hi to me and I see how far kind of the reach goes with what I'm talking about. And so, it's always uncomfortable to talk about uncomfortable things, to say the least, right? And so, what I want to talk to you about today, since I do get a lot of people from different cultures tuning into my lives, is the importance of cultural intelligence. Now, we have emotional intelligence, personal intelligence, social intelligence, and cultural intelligence to deal with. And these days, with um, the way our cultures are mixing, it's really, really important to have a higher level of intelligence around the different cultures. Oh my goodness, Hong Kong, Philippines in the house. Hi, Jazz. Thanks for joining. Jazz, if I say your name wrong, please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm just going to put it out there now. I'll do the best I can. But, when we are in the company of diverse cultures, we may not know things that we say or do, how it can annoy, anger, or even divide the cultures and the races. And so, even though this book was written 21 years ago, I'm reading it and it just brought back so many memories of things that I got annoyed and angered about when basically when people said certain things to me that showed their cultural ignorance. So, Larson, hello. Nice to see you. Evelyn from the Philippines. Magdasal Mai from Hong Kong. Nice of you to join us and say hello, to join me and say hello. So, I want to just kind of give a Nepal. Oh my goodness. Wow. Jess, what time is it in Nepal? That is so cool. Thanks for joining. So appreciate you. And it looks like you've got a puppy in your picture, if I'm seeing that correctly. I can't see it too well on the screen. But anyway, I want to give you some definitions to start out, to understand the different meanings of the levels of intelligence we have. And I want to start with emotional intelligence, your EQ, because a lot of us are very familiar with emotional intelligence. And so I was just looking up some of these different definitions. And the emotional intelligence, or your EQ, is to be aware of, control, and express one's emotions, to handle relationships judiciously and empathetically. So that's emotional intelligence. And then you've got your personal intelligence. And this is the capacity to reason about personality, the capacity to reason about personality and use it to enhance one's thoughts, plans, and life experiences. And then we've got social intelligence, which is the capacity to know oneself and others. And then finally, my favorite, cultural intelligence. It's a skill, the skill to relate and work effectively in culturally diverse situations, understanding and awareness of different cultures. So basically, I'm all hyped up about social intelligence and cultural intelligence. And in order to have those, you need a certain level of emotional And personal intelligence, you need a heightened awareness. You need to be aware of your emotions, your triggers, your personality, how others' personalities are, so that you can handle these different emotions and triggers and things that have the potential to anger, annoy, and divide in a mature way that I would say that fosters more coming together than division. So, who's joined us now? Deshawn from Kenya. Hi, Kenya in the house. Okay, Jazz, is not too late there, so I'm not keeping you up too late. Seth, oh my goodness, forgive me, from India. Seth, can I call you Seth from India? Hi. And Kaya, streaming live from Uganda. Robert Walker, Justin in Madagascar. Oh my God, so great to have you all. And because of this subject of cultural intelligence, to, look at all of the different people that are watching little old me in Berkeley, California right now, right? And even Mary from Alaska. Hi, Mary. So nice to see you. And so when I was reading a chapter in this book last night, I was remembering some of the things that were said to me. And just to give you a little bit of a background, I went to Catholic school pretty much from kindergarten through high school. And I was a practicing Catholic till about age 12. And then I really realized that there were a lot of things in that religion that I didn't align with, especially well, I'll just put it somewhere, just things didn't jive. And I started seeking ways to, it was a time of questioning and even confusion at that point. And so I was immersed in a few different religions from 12 to, I would say, my early 30s, for lack of a better word. But being in private school as a young Black woman often made me the only one of two, or one of a very few. And because of that, and we're talking 60s and 70s, this hair was in its natural state in an afro. So my hair is very natural right now, but I use a flat iron to straighten it out and style it because it's very thin. And so I always struggled with an afro. I was so jealous of those people that could grow a big afro back in the 70s when it was fashionable, and mine would just go flop. So I had to cut it really short to get like an afro. But anyway, I digress. And so my point in sharing that with you is that, being in school with primarily white people, I was asked some of the most ridiculous, unintelligent questions. And I would get asked things like if I went on vacation and I was in the sun and I came back darker and got a suntan, the amount of white people that it shocked, like, oh my God, you can tan? I'm like, yes, I have skin and it burns. If I place my hand over a hot fire, it will burn just as you would if you placed your hand over a hot fire. And I remember thinking, even, when I was young and less snarky than I am now, just how dumb those questions were. Really, really dumb, as if the fact that I was Black made me different as a human being, in so many ways. Oh, gosh, I had a lot of them on my mind last night, but of course today my mind goes blank. But the thought I always had, and even now that I'm married to a person who is of European descent from Germany. Actually, he is European, not just from the descent. But, spending time with his family in Germany, I would get asked things about, that I would be looked at almost like an animal in a zoo. Let me put it to you that way, because I was different. And I remember always thinking from the time I was young, why do I have to be different? You're different from me. If you really want to look at differences, but the fact that people are people and our differences are to be celebrated as our uniqueness. Like, I've got long fingers and people thought I should be playing the piano. Well, I played the organ instead. You see all my scars from the fall I had. Sorry about that. They look really gnarly. Um, but, you know, the looks, let me just put it to you this way, the looks about whether it's my hair texture, my skin having the ability to tan or not to tan, what happens to my hair when it gets wet, it doesn't go straight. It actually curls up. And to be the looks that the white children would give me was, oh my goodness. And it's enough to make you feel strange and less than. And that's a lot of the burden that people who are in what I would say historically oppressed communities or minoritized communities carry with them their whole lives, of having to deal with this stuff and actually feeling the need to alter our appearance so that we don't appear to be so different and stand out. So I want to say hi to a few people who joined. Robert from Ghana, nice to see you. Joanne from the Philippines. Zakaria from Nigeria, so cool. Larson from Pakistan. Hey, Larson. No, Jazz, I don't know Darman, but thanks. I'll look him up and see if I can find some of his videos. Thanks for that. And Kanul from Azerbaijani. I could say that. Fiji in the house. Oh my goodness. My daughter went out, had one of her best vacations in Fiji. You guys are amazing. Thanks for joining live. I appreciate you so much. So here's what I want to share about cultural intelligence. So if you haven't been a part of my Facebook group, I'll put the name in here. It's called The Intimacy of Race. And it's the only one. You just type it in the search bar and you can find it. I'm actually streaming live in The Intimacy of Race right now as well as YouTube. So find me on YouTube and subscribe to my channel as well. I think it's just Eva Medilek YouTube. I'll put the links in there later if you come back later. But my point is, we are living in times where we need to increase our intelligence, because if you notice, a lot of the rhetoric that's going on in social media and maybe in your own homes and communities has to do with limited intelligence. People are not educated to know and celebrate and respect our differences, and they have certain preconceived notions and judgments about the differences in people. And so my intention in my high performance coaching is to raise the level of not only your personal and your emotional intelligence, because that's what a lot of coaches do. That's what life coaches do. But now we've got that underlying social and cultural intelligence as well. And studies have shown when you can increase your cultural and social intelligence, you have greater success in your personal and professional lives. There's so many studies about that. Just having the diversity in your world. And I know that some people live in areas where it's hard to be diverse, but I would just invite you guys to read about different cultures, travel, as soon as travel restrictions are a little bit more free or and easier to travel. But one of the things I did with my children when they were young was to make sure that they experienced different cultures, so that they didn't look at different cultures as if they were strange or something was wrong with them, because I was raised by parents who had no cultural or social intelligence at all, like zero, zilch, nada. Everybody's way is the right way because this is how they were raised. So that's not the case. There's no right or wrong when it comes to different cultures. It's just a different experience because of where you live, where you grew up, where, the availability of food, parts of the world that you live in. So many things go into creating who we are. That is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And to turn your nose up at or feel that someone else's way because it doesn't match yours is somehow wrong is holding you back from beautiful experiences and success. So that's what I wanted to say to you today. I've been on for about 15, 20 minutes, and that's usually what I do in my lives. And for the people who are sweet enough to join me, thank you so much. And I hope you will join the Intimacy of Race if you haven't, that Facebook group. Because what I do in that Facebook group is I share from an American perspective. I know I have people from all over the world watching this right now, but my perspective is American. And right now, some of the things that have been happening in the past year and a half when it comes to race relations, Black and white in America, is what's been my focus. And so if you're interested in learning about that and having access to resources that share about the history of being African American in America, I've talked to some of my friends in some of my multicultural groups, and they don't know the history because the history is not taught in school. Americans tend to hide uncomfortable parts of their history. What I admire about the Germans and their Nazi history past is that they've created museums and education and memorials to the Holocaust victims and made it possible for people to learn exactly what happened there. But when it comes to race and racism in America, we're hiding it, we're ashamed of it, it's under the rug, don't teach it, don't talk about it, move on. And we can learn from from this history in our lives. And so my intention in the Intimacy of Race group is to share resources of history so that people are aware of the systemic racism that built our country of America, the country I live in. And you know what? It is what it is, but how can we move past it and change it? So it's not shared to shame, blame, and guilt. It's shared so that we can move beyond it. Because if you don't talk about it, you can't change it, right? Right. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. And I always have a free gift for you if you haven't taken advantage of it before. Let me put that in the chat. And it is, what do I want to share with you today? Oh, I know what I want to share with you, Don. It's my Powerful Ways of Being ebook. EvaMedilek.com/PWOB. So what this ebook is, it is, we all talk about what we need to do, but it really starts with how we are being. And that's part of this intelligent discussion. Oh, it didn't go into inspired lessons. Let me try this again. EvaMedilek.com/PWOB. Let's see if it goes this time. There it is. I think it went this time. All right. So this ebook is 6 powerful ways of being that foster effective communication and connection in your relationships. And that has a lot to do with how you're showing up personally and emotionally and managing your own triggers, but how we can really learn to listen to one another and learn about ways that we can be more intelligent about our culture, our society, ourselves emotionally and personally. And hopefully this will support you all. It's a free download. Please take advantage of it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Next Friday, I'll be in Europe. Woo, woo. Not sure how much lives I'll be doing, but I'll be jumping on and doing lives when I can. So make sure you check back in later. Okay, guys? Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.